Today's the first day we're finally gonna start working on the pants, and I kind of want to do this thing where I kind of just like document, kind of show you guys a little behind the scenes, a little bit more in depth, I guess you can say, for each part of this process in like a vlog style, I guess you can say. Then maybe like I can sprinkle in some other stuff into the video. I'm not going for a walk, but of course got to keep it consistent with the topic, because I know this DIY for sure is probably gonna take a minute to finish, you know. So this could be something else, you know, new content or something, a little behind the scenes action. And I can show you guys like all the dilemmas that I'm going through, like right now. I'm shooting the B-roll right now of me just like wearing the pants, so like the before shots, you know what I mean? And then after I finished it, I looked in the mirror and I'm like, wait a second. I kind of like how these pants fit, and especially with these ricks on, I might have to just keep them and then just like find another pair to use, maybe go back to the thrift store or something, because I really like how these look on me. So I ended up deciding to go with these Rustler jeans instead. As you can see, I reshot the B-roll. The silver tag Levi's, I just decided to keep those. They were just too nice. The fit of them was just too unique, I guess you can say. These right here, these Rustler ones, they have like more of a generic fit. I mean, they do fit me well, but again, it's pretty normal. You can find this pretty much anywhere. But obviously, these pants are not baggy. You know, they have that regular fit. So I will have to splice in other fabrics on both sides of the front panels, as well as the back panels. So they're not gonna be an exact one-to-one, that's for sure. I'm gonna add a little twist to it, you know, because I gotta use what I can with what I got. One of the main things I wanna do for these pants, for this DIY, is making them high-waisted. Now, fortunately, I do have a pair of high-waisted pants from the brand Kruger Clothing. I'll show you guys how that looks like. So here are the pants, try it on. They are skinny, so obviously I'm not gonna follow this fit, but I will follow how this section will be right here, and probably create like a new pattern or something like that. My belly button is actually right here, so it's basically on top of the waistband, which I personally think is a good length for high-waisted pants, for me personally. Oh, and also because it's high-waisted, it means I have to make the waistband smaller as well. So this waistband, even though these pants do fit me, I have to make it smaller. So I finished drawing a rough outline for the front left panel, and this is kind of how it looks like. It's not the best, but I'm sure it'll do. Plus, it's not going to be the final one because I do have to extend it to make it baggy on either sides, or both sides, I mean. So this is the original length of these pants right here. They're 28 inches because I have to, again, take into account the 2 inches I have to use for the zipper to make them to shorts, and then another inch to finish the hem at the bottom. I couldn't decide whether to use 35, 36. I decided to go with 36 because it's easier to remove than to add on. You know, because when you cut something up, you can't put it back. So I finished the patterns, all 4 of them. Hold up. Here are all of the 4 patterns for all of the 4 pounds I'm going to be using for the pants. Now, I just want to show you guys, or just like explain to you guys, how I went about in creating these patterns. Now, I'm not the best at creating patterns. I mean, like, honestly, I kind of just like learned by myself. And the way I made these patterns is probably wrong. And I don't even know if the final outcome will be how I want it to be, like how I picture it in my head, you know? Okay, so here is the panel. So this is the front left panel. Now, the main 2 things that I know that I wanted the panels to have was for it to be 10 inches at the bottom here, have a 10-inch opening. And then I wanted the fit of the pants to have like a straight fit. So basically from the hip area is gonna be straight down all the way to the bottom. So what I did is I started here at the waist area because this part is like the widest part of the pants, especially for the pants that I used to create this pattern. Because the pants I used were pretty like slim, or like skinny, not really skinny, I guess like slim fitted, really like hugs your leg kind of, and like tapers into. This pattern came from this roll of paper here, right? And it's like a rectangle. But when this was like this, from the hip area here, I measured the distance from here to the edge of this paper, and using that measurement, I went down the leg, because I knew that this outseam right here is going to be straight legged. So I did that all the way down to the bottom of the pant legs. I also marked where the bottom of the hem will be. So I did that all the way down to the bottom of the pant legs. And then from there, I measured this point, this end of the pant leg outline, to the newly marked point right there. And then subtracted that from 10 inches. And that's how I got the measurement of how big this space is supposed to be. And then all I have to do from here is from the original pattern line, measure 1.75 and make a bunch of markings all the way down following this curve to the crotch area. And I'm pretty sure you don't have to increase this area here, right? Hopefully. So that's basically how we got the pattern. And then of course you have to remember the seam. So I just measured 1/4 of an inch. There's a little gap right there. So I even labeled it seam. So yeah, that's how I made the pattern. So the next step is we got to deconstruct the base layer jeans, which honestly I kind of started already. And then we're going to use our newly created pattern to add on more surface area to the base layer denim so that we can get it to be this size and this long. This is a freaking 36 inseam. So here are the two back panels. I do have to iron out the seams here, make it flat and easier to work with. And then the front panel, these are still intact actually, from the zipper down to the crotch, the front crotch area here. I left this center part here intact as well as the zippers because it's just really complicated to put back together. I'm not going to be adding any extra fabric to this area, to these areas anyways. Might as well keep it intact, make my life a little easier. But I will be adding fabric to this part here. The crotch area is going to be dropped down like to here or something like that. Then of course we have the waistband, the 5 belt loops, where is the other one, and the 2 butt pockets. I don't know if I'll use these because the butt pockets on the Balenciagas are different than these, but we'll see. So my thought was originally I was supposed to add some extensions here because I can't add any extensions here because the zipper is still intact. And if I added an extension, there'd be this big unzipped part right here. Even if I add a button, it's still gonna be a little weird. So I was thinking maybe I can extend it below the zipper so I don't have to worry about this and make the extension right here. In this section, increase it by how much I extended the back panel, so this much. But I don't know if that would work, to be honest. I'll probably just try this on and then see if this front part is tall enough to reach right underneath my belly button, because that's like the goal. That's how high I want these to go at my waist. And if it does already, then that means I don't really have to mess with this. I can just leave this as it is. That dropping the crotch actually did work. And I probably have to remove this extension right here because that would mean that this is too high. This would go like to the middle of my back or something like that. So I guess we'll just pin this together and we'll try it on. I think it's actually fine if I don't add the extension at the top, so I think I could probably just remove this one because this thing goes way up my back. So I guess all you really have to do to make something high-waisted is just to drop the crotch down. And I guess you can kind of bring in the waist a little bit if you want to do that, but in my case, I don't need to do that since I'm adding the straps on the waistband. So I think I can just remove this extension here on both back panels. Maybe even just like drop the crotch a little bit lower because it was kind of riding up. And I think I'll be good.